Today is day 14451 of my life, and it is getting dark, so maybe that means it's moving into day 14452. I'm not sure if I was born before dark or after dark. I think it was after dark, but I don't know. I know it was a Thursday. If you check on Google, November 25th, 1982, that was a Thursday. What's the point of my blog? I existed. I got out there. And you know what my life was worth? Not much. Jewish women don't like me. Jewish guys, it's touch and go. And I mean that in the most platonic possible, heterosexual way possible. I'm really depressed. I'm really depressed. I mean, I'm going home to my cousin's house where I sleep and where I try and live, but I don't have a wife. My day-to-day activities are I'm not going to say degrading. It's not as bad as going door-to-door begging or door-to-door telemarketing, sales, stuff like that. It's still got its hiccups. Oh, by the way, if you wanted to check out my cousin on YouTube, he's Mitu Cats. Mitukats. He's got about 10 or something songs that he wrote and played. In that respect, he's a lot more talented than me. I don't know how to play an instrument. On the other hand, I've always been more outgoing, it seems. As I think would be obvious, you know, for 550 plus posts on my blog, and I don't know how many videos, and my blog is not even my first website. My previous website before this was iam256kb.20m.com, and I've had other sites along the way. I've had bensilver.ca, I had greattorantowebsites.ca. My blog is the first one I've actively pursued for any great length of time, 11 plus years. Might even be getting close to 12 years, I'd have to check. But as a Jewish male nearing 40 years old in the year 2022, or 5782, it's very depressing. You know, from a religious standpoint, I haven't done anything worthwhile in my life, and I've done a lot of sins. Thank God I haven't killed anybody. Thank God I haven't even maimed anybody. I haven't maimed that much property in my life. I mean, it's possible through secondhand smoke. I've caused quite a few people cancer. That would be horrible. It's definitely not my intentions. But it is technically, I mean, if this cancer thing is a real thing. I'm a very emotional guy. You might even say I'm needy, but it's been a long time since I've been in a relationship with a woman to even find out if I'm I don't know if I'm capable of being in a relationship with a woman. I mean, if a modern Orthodox Jewish matchmaker was to try and set me up on dates with modern Orthodox Jewish women, you know, my age bracket, I don't know if there'd be anything to talk about. Conservadox, maybe. Reform, I don't think we've had any. You know, I just tell people go to my blog, and I've got all the answers to all the questions that, you know, so far have been asked of me. You know, today on the bus, there was a man with 3 children, 2 daughters and a son. The son was about, he said, close to 4 years old, and they looked adorable. You know, he put the son on the daughter's lap because the son had fallen asleep, and I was tempted to ask the daughter or the father even, I mean, if I could hold him. You know, I don't have any kids. I've never had a baby. And I don't mean my body producing a baby. I mean none of the women I've had sex with have conceived. I've only been with 9 women, all consensual. There were some times that my first girlfriend and I had to, seduce her. It was not easy work. But there was no forcing. There was no, I'm a completely non-violent. I wish I'd have known some way to get a diamond ring and to ask her to marry me. And to this day, I'm walking back to my cousin's house, and the thing I want most in the world is that woman to come back in my life and say, "Huh, you're finally ready for me to be your wife." I don't think she would say it like that. She's too kind a person. Her smile, I look at the photos from 2003, from 2002. I still have, 2 or 3 photos of her, maybe 4. And there's no person in the world that makes my heart warm. In the whole world, there's 8 billion people supposedly, and none of them, and I'm not stretching it here, none of the millions I've met had the same effect she had on me. I felt like whole emotionally when I was with her. She took me as far as it could go on my budget. I remember we went to the mall in Florida. She was from Florida. She is from Florida. It's Borgenendel Schreiber, living in Bayswater, last I heard. Last time she saw me, at least in person, supposedly, was at a wedding in 2012 in Crown Heights. I got an email the next day, she asking me, "What am I doing on crutches?" The last wedding I'd gone to, I danced too hard and I fractured my ankle. To this day, I'm going to beat myself up for the rest of my life. That fateful 2004 Passover season. I should have, and this is me talking to God. This is me confessing to God. This is definitely not a, God forbid, Catholic confessional. This is me reaching out to God, and I don't feel the ability to have a conversation with God at the Kotel. But I abused the privilege of having her as my girlfriend. That's why I wish the rabbis had said, you should marry this girl if you're gonna get physical with her. By physical, I mean giving her orgasms. I do not mean hitting her. I tried to find ways to please her, and she in turn created this glow around my life that even through the problems, it was worth it. That she was the kind of person that it was worth being a better man for. Not always did I make the right decisions, this is obvious. But I definitely felt more of who I was supposed to be. I felt so motivated, so on the right path. To this day, I don't understand, why did my chief rabbi of my institution, the Rosh Yeshiva, Rabbi Talansky, when it wasn't him who caught us in the dorms one night making out, it was one of the junior rabbis. But even that junior rabbi, should have spoken to Rabbi Talansky, and they should have spoken to my parents and my rabbis back in Toronto. And there should have been, warm motivation to engage. Maybe taking me aside and suggesting it wouldn't have worked, but, maybe sending me the actual diamond ring. And, I have always been a receiver in life. I have hardly ever been a producer. There were some times when I would get creative with Legos I had and take photos and show them to my parents, but they weren't impressed. And I'm pretty sure that's what they feel about me today when I'm almost 40 years old and I don't have a career. I beg on the steps of the Kotel with a bunch of grandmothers and grandfathers. It's That's really what it is. There is occasionally a couple of drug addicts who also hop around, but the truth is they might not be drug addicts. They could be Kabbalist rabbis who have gone through tremendous trials and tribulations in their life and have studied an immense amount of holy writings and maybe even is in touch on a very deep level with the spiritual. You know, I mean, I'm going to my cousin's house, and from birth, I mean, he's my cousin. Same as my brother. If my brother invited me to come live with him, yes, we'd have our fights. There's no question about it. But once invited in, it's like, well, maybe I'm wrong, because you get invited in, you can get invited out. Everything's temporary in life. Everything. I'm terrified. I'm terrified that things aren't going to work out. And when I'm not terrified, I'm just putting it out of mind. But anybody can get pissed off at me and do whatever they want. And it's the summertime. You know, you think in the winter tempers would flare, but the truth is in the summer our brains kind of melt. 11 minutes 43 seconds. Time now is 8:31 p.m. There's another thing I'm lacking in. Serving God with joy. I am much more comfortable at a funeral than I am at a wedding or a bar mitzvah. Shalom Zacher, I mean, you just sit around and eat snacks. Births too, you just wait for them to snip and then, you go have a meal. But at a bar mitzvah there's dancing. A wedding there's dancing. My dad's wedding there was dancing. I left before it happened. I was traumatized. I thought I wouldn't be, but I was. I felt backstabbed. I remember emailing my dad for a number of years, telling him that I needed help with dating, with finding an appropriate wife, with getting my life started, career. And the next thing I knew, he was engaged. Our old plumber from back when I was a kid. I meet him up in Shoal, and he tells me my dad's engaged. And to me, this is Lo Selech Rachel. I'm telling you my life story. I'm telling you everything I can remember. Every thought I've got. I don't filter. I'm unfiltered. And quite frankly, I'm probably hurting a lot of people, and I wish there was a clear path for me to not just accomplish my goals, but to also be a productive member of society. I wish there was. In the meantime, I've got this blog that if, things really don't work out and I die in the next little bit, well, I existed. Maybe posthumously they'll print my blog and sell it as a book. Or give it away. Here's a warning for anybody out there. Unfiltered Ben. Maybe that'll be the next title for the blog. Maybe I should leave it as my original legal name. My birth certificate, yes, said Binyamin, but my original, and my original health card. It wasn't till later we started implementing my secular name. To a certain extent, I wonder if my whole family converted. No, they're practicing Jews. They didn't convert to any religion, but just hiding in Israel as Jews.